हाँ कर दे Hey guys. Hey guys, it's me Manish Goyal from Mozilla Firefox VIT. I am a senior core member. You have been following our series on Flutter. The last video was on basic introduction about app dev and Flutter. Today we would be going in the advanced app dev in Flutter. We would be using various types of dependencies along with a little bit of advanced concepts such as shared preferences and API connections. Let's just start what we are gonna make. We are gonna make a app that is basically fetching API requests and showing users the list of all the recipes or items that we have. We would be using various dependencies as I mentioned earlier. Lottie would be used for animations, animated text kit. You can't see it right now, but this Footyland, the name of our app is animated. This animated is done using animated text kit. When I will run the app, you will see it. Introduction screen is used for splash screens, and after that, the onboarding screen. Similarly, shared preferences, as you know, in the previous session as well, when we were running Flutter apps, the app was running, everything was fine, but as soon as you exit the app or shut down the app, there was no response from the app, and you have to basically restart the app. Nothing got saved in the computer. So shared preferences is what we would be using to save in the computer. You can use Hive as well, but shared preferences is a preferred one in the industry. Hive is a newer one, but you can use it as it follows boxes and all. Both of them are NoSQL. And then yes, so this is the basic format. Here you see this is our app bar. It's not app bar in the sense of a Flutter app bar, but it's a sliver app bar. Sliver in a sense that you can manipulate it, and it's a widget provided by Flutter's material dot. And as you know, Flutter is all about widgets and widgets. So this is it. This is our app bar. This is the image, and when we scroll up, as you can see, I scrolled up in the screen and the image got hidden. We also had these two app icons. Mm, Basically, these app icons help us to redirect, do anything. They can work as buttons, and when you provide them with functions, like there's a gesture detector, there you have gesture detectors on both the icons, and you can use the gesture detector. Following this, we have this. I also manipulated it to show you that not only images, we can have a whole stretched tab bar. In a sense, like it's a widget, that's the background. This whole thing is a background, and there you have a text field, and these chips are what we can just like click and send API requests. So that suppose if you click on pizza, the menu would be only for pizzas. On all, everything comes in the menu, and when you do drinks, it's just the drinks, and when you do dessert, it's just the desserts. So it's also same. You can scroll it up and down. All of this is made up of widgets. So mind you, you'd be using only widgets, and these images are fetched from the internet through future builder and API requests. Moving on, we have this onboarding screen. So this onboarding screen would be shown to the user for the very first time he logs in, and after that, after the user has done with the app, uh, you know that whenever you run a new app, there comes the screen like suggestions and all that sort of thing. This is the same thing. You'd be making this. It You can make this by yourself from scratch, or you can use a dependency. We are going to use a pub dependency called introduction screen, and everything is provided by introduction screen. I have manipulated a little with the colors with images, and these images are also animations, lottie animations. And after you have you can either skip it or you can continue. They will take you to the same screen. And uh, once this is shown, this won't be shown the next time. Like, it's just a one time thing. And to know if the user has logged in for the first time, or if the user is there again and again, like user has been using the app, this is what won't be shown. So now this screen is like, it's the screen made by the same widget. Like, I have used the same widget. This is nothing, this screen doesn't function. It's just to show you that you can use the same widget to get a variety of different types of pages. So this, in this screen, we provided with a widget, and these all are animated. This is a stateful widget, mind you. I will show you how to code that. So you can just click this and the color changes and all that sort of thing. And both of these are animated text. As you can see the similarity, this parameter was passed as a required parameter, while this one is a non-required parameter. So you can pass it or not. So as I told you, these things come from these buttons, these icons basically. So these icons carry gesture detectors, and from gesture detectors we can use it. So I just run the app right now to show you for the first time. I have uninstalled it on my system. So sorry, I have not. Yeah, I have uninstalled it, and this would be my first run for the system. So it would be clearing system preferences files that are saved in the disk. So let me go to my screen first. Mhm. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible right now. Yes. So this is my code. I'll be running it on my own device. So you can run it on your own device using Scriptify. Scriptify is available on GitHub. You can just download it and use it on Scriptify. Uh, As you see, I have uninstalled it. I install it right now to show you the difference running without debugging. So as I was telling you, this is the check that we would be using for shared preferences, and here it is. I have locked my device on portrait up mode, and this is my directory setup. So as you can see, models are for the models. I will explain to you till it's loading. I'll explain you this. So as you can see here, I have API. API is just a mock API, and this mock API is not a real API. It functions as if it's a real API. It is used to simulate if there's a real API working on the back end. So if you can just scrap this code if you have an API, like you can just scrap it. Future delayed would be there. Future is a data type or a is a data type or class in Dart that helps us in async programming. Like, it's somewhat similar to multi-threading concept, but not multi-threading concept. So it would wait for the response to come from the user. Till then, you have to use future. So you can like there are sometimes okay, my app's loaded, it seems. Let me continue though. Yeah, so sometimes there are concepts like I, your device has been fetching it from the internet, but so look at it, this is the first time we are loading it, so this screen is shown. Let me reload it once for you. Restart. Mhm. Restarting it. Yes, so this is the animation, this is animation, this is animation. As soon as the animation ends, we get transferred. So it's not the first time, because as soon as I installed it in my device, there was this response, like I got the screen, I got everything there, and the screen loaded for me. But as soon as I restarted the device, so I will show you what happened there. So we will start with the main file. um, like in the last class, sorry, in the last one, in the last session we used void main, but here we are using asynchronous functions. So this is why we are using asynchronous functions, because as you see, I would be getting a shared preferences instance. So as you can read, data is persisted to the disk asynchronously. So shared preferences stores your data in the disk. So while it's fetching the data, it may take time. So here it is. So while it's taking time, we are syncing the device. So like we have our Flutter binding initialized, the uh, screen locked, so whenever you try to rotate the screen, it doesn't rotate. It's an alternative to using a fully responsive code, where you use media query. I have used media query in subsequent files, but here I have not used media query. So I am locking my screen in the portrait mode for this reason, so that I don't have to take in account every widget. Moving on, yes, this is the main thing here. So bare preferences is where the system preferences or the shared preferences have been initialized or not, or the instance that's in the computer. So as soon as I call for the instance, if there's an instance, it returns the previous instance. If there is no instance, then it returns a new instance that doesn't have any variable. So you look at it, where bool key is first time. So I'm storing it in such a way, like in a dictionary, as if it is a Python dictionary or a Dart map, as you know, or a JSON file. So you have a key. This is our key. This is our key. This is our key, and we would be using this as a value. So preferences and get bool. We would be getting the boolean value for bool key for this is first time check. So it's like this is a key, this is a value. If there's no value, if no, if null, double question marks signifies if null. So if there's a null, means it's the first time we are initializing it. We'd put a value true, and we would run my app, and this is how I have like made my app. So in this we have to required parameters. Preferences will return us the shared preferences file, and a file, or you can say it's a disk storage basically. And is first time the value boolean value. So here we go. Static constant bool is first time constant my app. So this all would be initialized. This is just the basic code, you can understand it. um, we'll be coding it top to bottom. So as soon as we start coding, this is the first page. No need to you like understand the stuff. Services is imported by widgets, both of them, both of these functions. Material and all is basic one. So here we go, using, and then uh, As soon as we get these values are passed to this, and here we are. This is all initialization and basic dot stuff, and this is the root of our widget. We have a material app with a title and a theme data. It's a basic theme data, no changes. Or you can, if you want to change the theme data, you can create a theme file, theme.dart in the your library and use it. Debug and sorry. Uh, so what these checks do is like if I have set this to false, if this was true, it's default true. So I will just hot reload it. As you see, there's a debug sign. So this is just a check. And after all these checks, you can move on. Like this is the basic layout. This is how your tree starts. Widget tree starts with the first the material app, and now your material app has a home, which is a splash screen, and splash screen is our animation. It's an it's a three animation screen. Like you have three animations. Let me show you my splash screen. Yes, here it is. So our splash screen uses a lot of function, not a lot of, like a couple of checks and a mixin. Why we are using mixins? I will show you, because if we can't vsync it, but we need to virtual sync it at a value. Yeah, like we need to get a value about how much our animation has completed. Like, and so if if our animation has not completed, um, but if our animation has not completed, then we can't show the second animation. So to know if our animation has completed or not, I am using this. We can go to the app. I will restart it. Hmm. As soon as, and here we will get the screen. Let it load. Oh my, sorry, I reloaded it. It seems. Restart it. Not restart. Yes. So this is our first animation, second animation, third animation. As soon as the animation is complete, the other one loads. So this is why I have used this. I will explain you right now. So our splash screen is a stateful widget. So in stateful widget, this is the last time we are gonna take system preferences right now, because we don't need system preferences later, because as soon as the splash screen ends, you get the intro screen if you are a first time user on, and you get a different screen, the main screen or the app screen, if you are a second time or a third time user. So here we go. So I will first describe you the check. This check is when after we have completed, like after we have completed, we are gonna throw a material root, and the material root is an intro screen. So here it is, the intro screen. If intro screen checks yes, otherwise the onboarding screen. So here, these are our animation files. We'll be using the first animation file, that is the noodle one, the noodle and the chopsticks. Our fab, I mean icon as well. So we are first initializing it. First, the late animation controller, to get the animation controls. COP cop animated, if the cup's animated or not. Now we are gonna animate the app name. Animating app name is done by animated text, and it's set to false, because when we first initialize it, we are gonna take the noodle controller or our animation controller, the, your sorry, and we are gonna set our animation controller to the animation part as wait a minute, I just disable the intro screen right now. Let the intro screen be constant onboarding page. So I just disable this thing right now. Control F. It's up in the code and the check. This was the check I was talking to you about. So I on finished. As soon as our animation finishes, I'm gonna make it. Uh, I'm gonna comment the whole code out. So as soon as I comment the whole code out, um, I will be stuck in this page. Let it come. Let it reload for once. My app needs to restart because there are a couple of checks and system preferences takes. Wait a minute. Yes. So this is it. So I have just paused my app. This is our animation. We have been animating. This is the text animation that's done using Flutter widgets. The second animation that you saw was done using third party or pubdev animates. I'd increase the I'd increase its sorry I'd increase the counts to about 100, so it will keep on animating. It's reloaded, I think. Oh, sorry, it must restart. Hot reload doesn't work sometimes, so it must restart. And as you can see that it keeps on. So this is done using a third party one. This is done using Flutter or from scratch, and this one is the Lottie one. So Lottie one is with us. We have our controls. First we make an where is it? Sorry. Yes. So we are gonna delay it as soon as 700 milliseconds duration goes by. We are gonna start the other, yeah, like animate name thing. So if where is it? Yes. So if you can see that this animation keeps on running. This is animated scope. Animated scope here, the animated opacity. If animate app name is true, it's a boolean. We are using ternary expressions. Ternary expressions are used a lot in Flutter because it's not like here we have it. We cannot call if, because if I try to call if, we get an error. So ternary expressions are must in Flutter, and boolean checks with states mixed in is a must, because as you see, this animated opacity is a stateless widget, but it changes because stateless widgets also change now because they are rebuilt every time. Every time input is given, they are rebuilt. So uh, when we change the state of our splash screen, this thing also gets rebuilt. And as it is in build function, it gets rebuilt, and the value is changed, which is changed by set state. As you can see, we have the changes here in set state. App animate name, set state. Set state's gonna change it. Listener is added. As soon as listener changes, set state is called, and we get the changes. So this is our main screen. Sorry, the splash screen. And as soon as the splash screen ends, now splash screen must throw a material route, a navigator. Material navigator of context. Context stores the position of different paths or different frameworks or widgets in the build tree. In Flutter, we have three trees: widget tree, render tree, and there's the other one, widget tree, render tree, and there's uh, I will reach it out. We have 3 trees, and uh, the build tree gets rebuilt a lot of times. Widget tree, it's there. It's our this is our widget tree. Uh, build tree gets builded, and render tree is what's displayed on the screen. So we are returning a constant images page, our main page, if not the first time, if first time, then intro screen. Intro screen is this one. Settable preferences done. Settable is done here because once we show the intro screen, we are not going to show it again. Moving on. I'm going to remake the changes now. Uh, Let it be, it's 100. Let's set it to 2 again. It was 1 initially, and we are gonna restart it, and I'm gonna show you my screen. So as you can see with the restart, it should change. On finished. Oh, okay. Repeat count is 1, and because it's called on finished, it's a third party app, third party widget. So whenever you use widgets, use documentation a lot, because there are a lot of examples that you can help, and the code is just a click away on pubdev and on github. You can get both the codes. So this is it, I think. Yes, this is it. We are going to move to the new screen. Let it be changed. Why is it not changing? It should change, but it's not changing. Wait a minute. Let me do something. I think this is better. You can now see the screen. Yes, I'm gonna dump the whole session. Yes, and for icons are changed using another method. You can use a um, uh, Flutter dependency called Flutter icons, or you can use the manual method. I will show you that as well. Appicon.co. As you go to the site, they will ask you to drop an image file that's needed for an icon, and for Android, you get it, you generate it, you get a zip file. And in that zip file, there are some contents. Here it is. So I have replaced all the contents in my source main resources. So these min map folders are the ones that you must replace. So as soon as you replace them, you get your icon. So I have a third party icon, or my icon, not the Flutter one. This is how it's done. So this was a basic thing that I threw in, and yeah, I will do it again. Let's see why there was an error. It's coming. We will move to the intro screen in a while. We'll move to the intro screen. It's running on Gradle. Mm, Before intro screen, I'd describe you a basic widget tree uh, with a stateful example, and then the API format. It's loading. Mm, You have keys, you have widgets. So yeah, so here you can see I'm making an author card widget. So what that widget is is this one. This is the widget, the author card. It's a stateful widget, mind you. I will when I click on this. Yes, yeah. So I'll show you virtual in an app. So when I click, it gets clicked. So this is a behavior of stateful widgets, not the stateless widgets. And as you can see, the click changes the color, and this is nothing but I have changed the icon. So you see like I have just changed the icon. It's an icon which got changed from the rounded outline one to a filled one with the color changes. So if I open my debugger, my Dart dev tool, sorry, my Dart dev tools in the web browser. Here you go. It's opening. Using Dart dev tools is also a big part of Flutter as it helps you understand the widgets. So I'm going to explain the widget tree, and then we are going to move to the next part. So like we have a material app on items pages. I'm sorry. Let me get it. Overlay guidelines, yes. And select widget mode, yes. I'm gonna select this one. It got selected, so fine. This is a dummy screen, a dummy screen widget. The whole screen is a dummy screen widget. So you see, if I go to the code back again, there's a test.dart file. Yep, I got it. This is a widget I made. It's a stateless widget. A stateless widget, and inside that we have the stateful widget, because stateless widgets, it's the same, because we are going to change the stateful widget only. Then why should we load let me get this. Why should we reload the whole page, rebuild the whole page? Why by But we can just remake a small icon. So we are going to just remake a small icon instead of making the whole page. This is the dummy screen widget, and in this dummy screen widget, there's a late widget page provided. This whole section is this page, and this is not a compulsory one. It's not required. You can get it, or if you don't get it from the user, fine. The title is to be provided, and we get the title's the account page, because when I move back here, I have not used titles. It just shows me this title and not the widget. So here we move on. Cyan, the whole background, the app bar, uh, automatically imply leading. This is a material route. So in a material route, you get pops and navigation, because we can't go to the back page from this widget, this page. Why can't we go? Because we don't have the back button, and in reality it has been disabled. We disable it in the first screen itself. Look at it. Material route builder, push replacement. We are not just saying push, we are saying push the replacement. Sometimes if you want to just empty your memory, you can use push and pop. So these are all the methods we can use with navigator. They are in the documentation. I'm just using the push uh, replacement. There's no back button. To see the difference, you go to you go to flexible menu, sorry, custom chips items. Oh my. You go to app bar. No, this is the dummy app bar I made. Like, it's a stateless widget. It is the implementation of the app bar. If there was, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it is the implementation of our app bar that I have separated from the whole file. As you see, when I move it up, my sorry, my device got And wait a minute, I must close it. Hmm. You see all, and API request just got stopped. Oh my. Can give me a minute. I'm gonna restart it because the API request just got stopped, and I am using a dummy API request as I told you earlier. It's just a simulation, not a real one. Hmm. Hmm. It completed. It's yes opened. Here we don't have replacement. Here we have replaced no replacement. Here nothing. So we show that. And I was on that page and we were doing a widget tree stuff. Yes. So yeah, here we are. I'm gonna start with the select widget mode. I'm gonna select this one. As you see, there's a circle after, and inside that, this avatar has the image. It takes the image. It has taken the file image. This is in our assets file. Now we have the border. It's the circle, and it's filled up by a sized box. You will get the code on GitHub. I will share the code later. And inside that you have a column. Here, look at it. It's a row. Inside a row, this is one whole element. This is a separate element. It's a column. And then there's this last part of the row. It's stretched. You can change the alignments as per your wish. You have alignment options both on the main axis. For the row, the main axis, and for the rows, the main axis is this one as I'm moving my cursor, and the cross axis is this one. Here you have it. Look at it. It shows the whole table kind of stuff, but it is not a table. It's a widget tree. I hope you understand it. After this widget tree, now we can move to the other part. Yes. And here we have, yes. So this is our main page. I'm going to toggle it off. Our main page. Before going to the main page, let's go to understanding models. Models consists of the dart file. Hmm? And this dart file, I have an enum food category. Just let me explain what this is first. It's an item. The item that I'm going to use to make this card, this whole card you see, it's made by this custom data type. I made this data type, and you see all the things. String image URL. This is taken from an image URL. This is the title. This is the rating we are using. Here you have the price, the food category. This column, if you had another API in the back, it's this one just uses one. But if you had several APIs, I could have just used this food category as well. I have made it as an enum. So as you see, pizza, drinks, desserts, and all. This all is a dummy one because sometimes in null checks, in null checks, we are not going to provide null, but if null comes, all can be used. You like it's a default thing. Just show it, and here you go. You have several of them. One, two, three, four. Every you see every tile, every card has these values used. So I have defined it. All of the parameters are required. As you see, this is not the Flutter stuff. If you know Java, you can understand it easily. This is just Dart stuff. Excuse me. This is just Dart stuff. So this is a enum. We used an enum category, price, integers. And remember, you need to make these values, they're like, if it's a double, okay, if it's a double and you get an integer for a JSON file, your API must be capable enough to differentiate and change, because Dart is not going to change it for you. That's not going to do it. You have to change it manually. As you have coded in Flutter, you know that you have to use null checks a lot. And not, null check is a recent feature. It's not old feature. It's implemented so that developers don't get lost in their code when some values go missing. So if you check for each value, there's no problem. As you see, this is the factory. I made this switch because if I show you the file, this is the kind of file that's returned from API. Basically, you get a JSON file, whether it be a post request or whether it be a get request. Post request, you can get bodies and all. Uh, but here you get in this app I'm showing you with the JSON file. You see item IDs and keys can be used when you click and to add on the wish list. There's not a second API, as I mentioned earlier. If there was, it could be added, but you can add, like I click it here and it gets added to the cart. That functionality can be done using state management, but state management is a different concept, so I have not included it here. State management and local storage simultaneously help to improve your app and make it a functioning app. This is not a proper functioning. It can work because it has the storage capacity. If I include it with the shared preferences and a height, then it can work fine. There's no need for state management. But state management's like, mm, let's see, I have to send this value. There's this value. I have to send it like in a different widget. So how would I do it? I can't do it like just calling callbacks, and callback. From callback, I mean like I have used a callback here. Let me show you. I have used callbacks in Splash. I see there's a void callback, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Um, where is it? Where is it? Not here. So if there was a callback, it would be like I take this function, return this value, then the upper widget, then upper widget. You're like, it's just like climbing a tree, widget. But provider or any other state management, what it does, it provides you a portal. Basically, you get a consumer, you get a provider, and from consumer to provider, consumer to provider, and provider to consumer, you can change uh, the values or the variables. So state management is easier, is a very good approach if you want to use it. And yes, this is it, the widgets. Oh, sorry, I just get distracted, sorry for that. Item.dart, there's no need. Yeah, item list, as you see, this item created this list. You can see the list code is like really small, and this is the whole list. If you have 1,000 elements, it still gets created from this small code. All you have to know is the list. Look at it. So in the file, yeah, in the file you have item ID, item URL, name, category. Look, pizza and desserts. I have not included drinks, so you can see, if it's a pizza, you get a pizza set as a food category. I remove it, I will get an error. Even have if I had kept it in the Dart file as like, if it was food category dot dessert. And in sense, for a string, if you print the Dart enum value, it will show you the same value, but it's not same because it's using two string function, and every widget has, every object has a two string function. So here I'm gonna switch call switch cases on every category of the JSON file. And what JSON is, it's like for every element, this would be the JSON. We are gonna decode it from JSON, decode from JSON, yes, from JSON, factory from JSON, yes, you get it. You get the categories separated, and this is just a dummy check I put in place. Um, and here you go. It. I will be returning an item. Now I will be returning this object. This is what is needed. And you know, you can create an item by calling it like item, and it has a parameter, image URL, a image. Every you can call everything simultaneously, but it's not a good way to call it. So as I move on, you see this is how I created, and this is the item, and from item you have an item list. I got called a builder with a build which takes count. Here's the list. I have provided the list is passed. This is how the list is passed. You see, there's the list view builder, item count is the length, you know, a parameter of the list, and builder for every item. You're like, for every element in every item, for every element in the list, this would be created. And you see, item index, I'm returning an item card. So this is it, just using widgets, small snippets here and there, we created the whole thing. I'll be explaining you this, would be showing you another way to do this. You like, sometimes you see apps, I showed you in the PPT as well. Here you see this one, there are images. These images, when you swipe up, uh, they get lost. You like, and when you swipe it back down, they are again visible. This and this, both are same concepts, and it's not the normal app bar body concept. I'll be showing you that as well. So item card, as I was gonna tell you, item card. Hmm. Item card, what it takes, I'm gonna get the rating, and this rating function, as you see, this rating function is for stars. Let's go and change it. So if you can't understand it, I'll show you. Here's the rating in Enum. There's a row, and in every row, I'm gonna generate a children, which is a list of widgets. These always take widgets, and you see, list of widgets. 5 is the index, and for every, and now it will iterate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, not including 5. I'd be returning an icon that's a star with a color if it's less than num. Index is 0. Like you have 4 stars, it means index 0, 1, 2, 3 are gonna be yellow. So as I told you, ternary checks, very important. Ternary checks. Let's do something. If index is less than num plus 1, now see what happens. As you see, every one that had 4 stars got its stars increased, because index is less than num plus 1. It's true for everyone. It would be true for if even you have 5 stars, and 5 means num would be 6, and so it gets changed. But you can again change it. We'll try with color this time. So you see, Flutter provides Flutter provides you a very, just look at it, the change. Just a line change, you get changes everywhere in your app, wherever it is called. So yeah, I'm gonna revert it back. And so this is it. This is the container. This is how we got the rating. and a rating is another widget. You see a widget, this thing is a different widget. It's a column, it's a row, column, row, column, and it's a stack. It's on a stack. It's card on a stack. You see a stack, and in this stack you have two elements. I have used a alignment bottom right. This thing plus sign, it uses a bottom alignment. Item price is rounded because for aesthetic reasons, and this is it how we created it. And for gesture detection, this is gesture detection. I will show you this. Yes. Let's go to the debug console. You see in my debug console I have these add items, and why these add items are there, plus. I click the plus and you see there was a gesture detector there. If I didn't have a gesture detector, the ink, you see I click it here, there's the change in color, the animation part. This is ink and inkwell. Ink and inkwell. Ink, ink gets a child inkwell, where this border changes. It's a circular border. If I change it to like rec, my custom border takes a shape border, so I'll be changing it to box. I think a border. You see, there's the change. There you can see if you look at it closely, align, and I remove it. So these are all the changes implemented by Flutter. Let's revert back to the circular border, and as soon as you revert back, the line disappears. This is it. These are the changes. As I told you, if you had API and if you had providers in your midst, you could have done a lot of things by just changing it on implementation. Just get the function right here. A provider is called, you get the value. An API is called, you get the value. This all values come from the API. I have nothing stored in my device. It comes from the API. And if I move again on, I think this is the part that's remaining. Author card done. Author is just how I set up the images and that author disk. Custom chips. We are gonna go, yeah. No, from custom chips from memory. We are gonna go from the page part. You see, from the page, it's an up to down tree. On my screens, yes. Items page. It's an up to down tree. Items page, view all function is providing a future builder. This is how I am calling the API. API future is a data type, as I had discussed it earlier. This future comes, it takes this. Let's go to our API first. This is our API. Okay, we are gonna load this file, this loaded file in a sync format. In a sync format, as I load the file, this is the path provider. I get the JSON file. Look at it. I get it in a string format, and I'm gonna decode the string. Look at it. I get the string. I decode it in JSON. I get a map of string and this, and if items would return me a list. It's a string which is a list of strings, and just use dynamic when you don't know the data type. The Flutter will sort it out. You get it? Item from JSON for each, in this list, for each item, you are gonna return it. I named it recipes. You see, this list is it's being added from every item on JSON list to this list. This is returned, then this return file is the future, and as you get the future, it's a sync snapshot. If your snapshot connection state is done, you get every data, you make it in items, you return an item list discussed earlier, it processes it. So you see, you just need files and a proper concept like of your this sorry, of your widget tree, and you get the values. And now I will be moving on to chips. These are chips, you see. These are really powerful tools. The animation as well, and with providers and sorry, yes, and APIs, they are powerful tools. We have this view list, view all. We can just change this lists if view all is not done. View all changes the list value. It's a set state value. It should be called under set state. I've done it as list because it's not updating. If it was updating, I would have called it under set state, and the values and the images would have changed. The body, custom scroll view. This full thing is the body. We don't have a proper app bar and Flutter definitions or material definitions. We get a custom scroll view. We can manipulate the views as we want. You see this thing, and these are normal, and this is sliver app bar, and it takes the parameters that are from app bar and not from app bar as well. You get it, you get all the parameters, leading, and then actions, and on tap for everyone. All the on taps, as I showed you earlier, I changed it. I threw the values, and this values was done by dummy pages. This is all again set state. This is third party, no non-required one. Third party, it's easier. And actions, again you get it. And here the main part, the flexible space. The flexible space is the space, you see, the flexible space. It appears and goes. Right now it's a flexible menu. This whole menu is another widget I made. You have this whole thing. It really starts from here, from the start of your screen, before the status bar and all that, battery and stuff. It starts here. You see the color, but I have to make it disappear. uh, as this disappears, you see, this part is really padding, only padding up to this part taken by media query, and this part taken by our padding. This is the content. I will show you it in a widget as well. First I will show you this thing. I wanted to show you that we can just have background changes. It was earlier a background, and right now, what's the error, please? Oh, sorry. I got it. I commented the parameter as well. So you see, right now I am using a flexible spacebar. This flexible spacebar, which has a background of my image, which takes the whole screen width, which should take the whole screen width. Media query of context store the whole of the device, as I mean, whole properties of the device, as I mean, told you earlier. Size, width, fit, box fit widget. Look at it, fit widget. It will fit the whole size, as I mentioned. Overflow, no problem. It doesn't show the overflow part. Let's reload it. Cool. And as I reload it, you look at it. It gives me this beautiful image. And as I scroll down and up, you see, up and down. You can manipulate these values. I have manipulated it really on pin. There are the parameters. Floating, pinned, true. It's pinned. If I was not pinning it, the whole app bar would have disappeared when I go up and down. Look at it. I have to go up, and I don't get the app bar. So when you want to hide it, you have some sites, they go like, You go down, 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 and you are done. You go up, you don't get it. This is how it's done. When pinning is true, it's pinned. You get the app bar. At least you get the sliver app bar. You get it. You got it. Floating, it changes sides. Snap, snap is like it snaps from view. Um, you can try all of these, and as you see the change in images, I will again put the previous one. Where is it? Sorry, sorry. Yes, the flexible space bar. Here it is, the flexible space bar. All of these are widgets, just widgets that have been used to make the app work. Okay, so now we get it. Now we move to flexible space bar, control, flexible menu. Okay, look at it. As I mentioned you, app bar height, that will go in padding. Just wait. Padding goes in padding. Status bar height, the whole status bar height goes in padding. Because this whole thing must disappear. This is your content. Your content must disappear. And you get the return decoration, and now your content just widgets again. With 8 times you get 0.1, 0.1 padded, and it's really horizontal symmetric padding, box shape rectangle with now, and just the keyboard input. These are just input parameters. You see, uh, keyboard type just text. I can change it to, like, I can change it to number. Let's try numbers. Will it get changed? Back, reload the keyboard. Sorry, what was the issue? Oh, keyboard dot phone. Sorry. It's not working for me. I think I would have to restart. Let's try this one. After restarting, it will work. If it doesn't, it's problem with the file. Reload the whole app. Look at it, my apps. Hmm. Good. Look at it. There comes phone. I changed it to phone, right? Got the change on keyboard. The button, this is it. Action button, search. I can change it. We can change every parameter. Send. Let's try send. Yeah, it's problem with my files. I will have to restart it again. Hot reload is not working for me. I will restart it again. My device, my app will restart, and then I will show you. All of these are what you can use. Look at it. Send. The changes are there, and the padding. This is the text editor part. I changed the decorations a little, because without decorations, what you will get is a straight single line where you must enter the answers or something. I have disabled the line and made the decoration such a way that it seems like a form box. You have another text form field, some that also takes the values. It must be used in form. So there's a padding again on these, and there's the custom chips. You see custom chips. It is a stateful widget with borders, and these are chips, filter chips to be precise. List generated, we encounter it again. 4 is the total index. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, we get the values. You get the changes. Color white when not selected, color different when selected, label, filters of index, filters, index, label, you get selected values index. If value selected, then constant color. This is the label color. You look at it, the ternary. On selected bool, set state, selected null, the state changes, and it's changed to list. You get a list generated, and you change it. You get a list generated. You change it to a list, so you get the values in a row for the children properties of row. And the custom, where is it? It's done, I think. Yes, the custom is done. It goes up and down. It uses sliver. The keyboard goes down now. You can use scroll physics to maintain scrolls as well. Like when you reach the top, you have like YouTube reloads. As you reach the top, you reach the top and you pull it down. This reloading icon you can use on top approach. There are functions, so this is how you will use it. And this is a somewhat basic and a somewhat intermediate intro to Flutter and how it works with apps. So I will be closing the simulation. Yes, and if you have questions, now you can start. If you have questions, now you can start. Let me open the questions, please. If you have questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we are done. Thank you for attending. I think there are no questions. So we are done. If you have, and thank you for attending the session. I hope you understand a lot about Flutter and want to start your journey in app development. Uh, could you please wait for a while? The QR code is being sent for attendance. You can file your attendance and leave. Thank you very much. Everyone, please scan the code, scan the QR code, and give your attendances. Thank you for attending the session once again. I hope you understand a lot and are interested in working with Flutter and app development in the near future. Thank you.